What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Back on the cross kart again. I know it's been a couple weeks since we've recorded, but I did finally get that other control arm moved, so we're all good there. Right now we're going to work on putting this steering in. I know for sure I'm going to have to drill my knuckles out to fit the tie rod ends here, but maybe we'll try to weld on the sprocket afterwards. I can't fit CV axles in the rear because if you saw in one of the last videos, I didn't buy the right CV axles. So we'll try to get some miscellaneous stuff here. My main thing trying to get done is this steering, so let's hop into it. So after about an hour of drilling, these have finally been drilled. 12 drill bits later, and even something to just kind of hollow out the inside. We finally got them on. So they are loose right now because I haven't tightened the bolts, but steering rack's gonna go across there. If you see, that's about sitting in the middle. It is too long, so we are gonna have to chop these center pieces down, which they do screw off, not that big of a deal. Hopefully it doesn't take as long to do that. I don't think it will because it's just cutting and welding. My other issue with cutting this is if I ever have to replace these knuckles, this beam might have to be longer or shorter, I don't know. So hopefully these hubs will last a while. I'm not expecting them to, but we can cross our fingers and hope. So yeah, like I said, that's the next thing we're gonna do is chop that up and find a place to mount it and make sure there's no bump steer in here. So as you can see, two pieces are in half. That's the left, this is the right. That's how much I cut out of it just to make it even in there and how much I need. I'm gonna let that cool down because I just burnt myself. So once that cools down, we'll clean it up a little bit. It's gonna be a task to kind of weld everything together and keep it straight while it's welded. Maybe I'll try to line it up, tack it, and then I can hammer down an edge or something to straighten it out. But we're gonna let those cool first because I don't want to burn my finger again because there's a little bit of a blister there. So as you saw, I got the steering rack in. It's not really sitting 100% where it needs to be. Kind of is. It looks off-centered to me, but I think that's where it's gonna have to sit unless I make one of these side pieces shorter, because I have a line there and then a line right in the middle there. But it's gonna be further back a little bit just to kind of straighten out how everything sits, because it's all facing forward, but it's also held up by a jack stand. But that's all we're gonna do for tonight. Tomorrow morning I'll build a bracket and we'll kind of get it sitting where it needs to be. I also need to put bracing here in an X form, so kind of like the old one was. I don't know if anybody has seen that video, but on the old one, A-arms were back a little further and I had that X in there for reinforcements. So we'll do that here and then we'll probably hang a piece of metal off of that, make a bracket for this to sit in, but we'll see you guys in the morning. So last night, before I went out of the garage after I talked to you guys, I was kind of looking at this. With everything attached, it kind of puts my knuckles tilted, they're toed out a little bit. I was just trying to mess with this one and it broke in half because there were only a couple tacks on it. So with that happening, I think I'm just gonna pull another inch off. I'll do a 1/2 inch on each piece and kind of see if that'll give us enough room, because we can still screw those out a little bit and be fine, but we can't screw them in anymore. So if we can have a little adjustment in and out, we'll be fine. So yeah, we'll just cut these pieces down a little bit. I'm also worried on this because it doesn't look like there was good penetration on that at all with the tacks. Hopefully it's not that big of a deal when I put a full bead around it, but I don't know if it's going to be strong enough. And like I said before, like with my axle too, it is also zinc plated. I might have an issue welding my flanges to there to put my CVs onto, but I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So I've got this all hooked up now. Everything's tightened. It's not 100% straight, but the steering rack's also not where it's supposed to sit. That's about where it's supposed to sit, so everything's looking good there. This one's towed out oh, it fell off the jack stand. Okay, that scared me for a second. So nothing's really where it's gonna sit yet. So the next thing we have to do is make a bracket so this can sit how it needs to, because I need to test to see if there's bump steer, and if there is, don't know how I'm gonna fix it, but that's the first thing we need to do is just figure out if it has it. And then after that, I took these pipes out when I moved the control arms forward because they were my little cross brace up front. So I'm going to have to put those back in too. But I think I want to make my bracket first to kind of just get that set in stone and don't have to work around anything that's sitting right there. Got my bracket welded, or bent and tacked in. I don't know if you could see it in the video, but I had to put all my body weight on there and use a sledgehammer because we don't have a metal brake to bend it. But kind of got it bent up how I want it. I mean, you can't really see it in there, but it goes up off this front beam and down onto my floor pan for my pedals. Might get changed. There shouldn't be that much pressure on here, so I mean, if I put a bead all the way along that, it should work. But now we got to drill the holes in that. Then is the mysterious if there's going to be bump steer or not. And I believe there is, because when it lifts up right there, it tows everything in, and when it's all the way down, it doesn't. I'm not a big fan of that. I'll have to research how to change my control arms to get that stuff figured out. It's all part of it, I guess. Now that everything's in, bolted, everything's tight, and my theory is correct. See how this one's straight when it's fully bottomed out, or fully extended? Pull it up. There it goes. And I have no idea how to fix that. So, my theory was that I'd set them straight to the ride height of the cart, and then as long as we don't take any bumps or anything, which I mean, we're going to be doing off-roading, so it's not really going to work, but for the time being, it can. And that way, just at stock ride height, it'll drive straight, everything, as long as the suspension doesn't compress. Who knows, we might even take it off-road and see if it still works. But we better not hit any bumps, because then one tire goes one way, one goes the other, and then we're in the trees. So that's probably all I'm going to do tonight. I'm probably going to go do some research on how to fix this, because I know it has something to do with the control arms and everything. So figure out how I need to change my control arms, and hopefully it's not too big of a change and won't take me that long, but we'll see you guys tomorrow morning. So as you saw yesterday, got everything put in there, and it does have the bump steer. I did look it up, and I believe my steering rack is up too high. I think when there's when it's at ride height here, my steering rack should be pretty close to level, which I can do that. So I'm gonna have to cut this bracket down, and then I'm also going to have to extend these back out. So I've cut those twice, and it's really becoming a pain. So hopefully I can get it right this time, down where it needs to be. Like I said, I'll just extend those. I'm not going to show it because you guys have already seen me do it twice. And then I'm going to get this sprocket kind of on where it needs to go. For my axle, this old sprocket that's underneath, the holes go through there to put it in where it needs to go. So what I think I'm going to do is grind this zinc coating off, and then I will weld this to it. I know it's probably not the best thing to do. I should probably just make a plate to stick inside of here. I guess I could figure out where center's supposed to be. And then I can kind of grind this out a little bit bigger to where... Actually, I won't even need to do that. I could just drill straight through the welds and then attach it that way. But I don't know how I'm going to cut a perfect circle is the issue, because plasma cutter doesn't work. And, I mean, I guess it doesn't have to be perfect, but my metal also isn't as thick as that. So that's going to be an issue. So I'm going to cut that bracket up that I mounted everything to up there and kind of just lower everything down real quick, and then in the meantime I'll kind of think about what I want to do with that. Alright, so that bracket's dropped down quite a bit now. It sits really nice when it's just at regular ride height, but I did have the shocks off and I did test it again. It is still an issue, so I'm going to have to do a lot more research on that. I also didn't get out here this morning. It is nighttime out right now. It's about 9 o'clock, so I think that's going to be it for the video. Hopefully I got you guys enough footage in here to keep you entertained. Going back to the first video I did this year, I said we were going to be doing every other weekend, and that hasn't happened. I've been really busy with work and everything going on, so I'm not going to promise any videos of when they're going to go up. I'm going to try to do my best to do every other weekend, but I don't know if that's going to work. But I do hope you guys enjoyed this one, so if you did, hit that like button, comment down below if you know anything about bump steer. That would help me out a lot. Comment what you think about the build. I know it's taken a while. It's hard to just work on it on weekends, and then other weekends we're doing other stuff. But if you want to follow along with the build as well, hit that subscribe button, and we'll catch you guys in the next video.